Welcome to Grace Among Us, the podcast where we unearth the many faces and places of grace and share stories of the power of grace in our human lives. Our desire is that this will inspire you to see grace in your own life and share it with others.
Hey guys, I am Ebony Gilbert and I am here with Carri Richard and we are here to discuss grace today.
Carri? Hello, Ebony.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good day.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you.
Always good to see you.
Yes.
It's good to be seen.
Absolutely.
My grandma used to say to be amongst the living.
I like that. My dad says if I'm on this side of the grass, it's a good day.
If the creek don't rise, all those things. I got a list.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank God for our ancestors, close and far.
Yes.
Well, today, how about we talk about when things line up?
Things.
Yes. Not the rainbows and unicorns and Santa Claus, and if I say the right thing that I'm going to get what I want.
Okay.
However, sometimes it looks like that. But let's talk about what's really at work. How about that?
What is really at work? Oh, that is the question I ask myself so often. What's really at work? What's the purpose? What's really happening here? What are we really doing?
And when do you ask yourself that? What's going on when those questions arise?
Generally speaking, chaos.
Yeah. What you don't want, right?
Yeah. Chaos or some undesired, situation, some undesirable. And I'm like, what is really happening with this?
Yes.
Because it doesn't make sense. Things are not lining up in that moment. And it's this rhetorical question of, wait a minute, pause. What's this all for?
Yeah. I have other questions that I ask in that situation. What am I doing wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this person this way or that way?
Mm-hmm.
To be honest. Yeah.
What am I missing? Is it me? That's my favorite one. Is it me?
Yes. Where's that manual that you seem to have? Because I don't seem to have it.
What
page are you on?
What is this? I'm not sure what's happening right now.
Ebony and I had a lovely, sweet conversation before we get on here. And we were asking ourselves that very question.
Like, who allowed us to be adults? And is there a return policy? Because
can we have a refresher?
Yes, some days I just don't feel equipped for this thing called adulthood. And it's in those moments when things are not lining up.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not getting my way.
This is not how I envisioned it.
Yeah. Or why is this happening?
And why do we wait until chaos ensues to ask the question?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know the answer.
Well, I think based on that, so it's easy to ask those questions, or it's easy to get present when it's uncomfortable. When something's not going my way, I can get curious. And usually in the past, a lot, the curiosity was negative. What's wrong with me? Why aren't they doing it? Why isn't this happening? All of that. But today, I can ask different questions.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing something from the perspective of, is there something here for me to do? Have I not done my part? Am I trying to push like a boulder up a hill?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this isn't the best route for me. What is grace? What is God trying to tell me here?
Mm-hmm. There are a couple of things at work that I like to say to my team. Is this a teachable moment?
Mhm.
And I find myself asking that when mistakes have been made. How do we learn from this? And then the other question is, am I the learner or the teacher in this moment?
Mhm.
Also happens when things don't add up. The numbers aren't numbering, and I can't figure out the next step. Like, should I be teaching this or learning from this? Or both? What's the lesson in this? And I think all of that stuff for me, we've talked about the hallway before
Yeah.
or the construction zone. All
Yes.
those things happen in the hallway or the construction zone when everything looks chaotic. There's dirt and dust everywhere. Nothing's making sense. You don't see the whole house in its completion yet. You're seeing
Absolutely.
stacks of drywall and a bunch of extra bricks that don't belong anywhere.
Yeah, and I can't make sense of it by myself.
Mm-mm. You
And the
could.
more
You could try.
and when I do that, I ask the questions, what's wrong with me? What page of the manual am I missing? Why is this happening to me? Why is it your fault it's happening to me? Like, no productive questions arise.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right there with you.
For those who are listening, if you haven't listened, I think it's episode 2 is the hall. It's pretty good. Just a little, just in
Yeah,
case.
it definitely brings the conversation full circle. But let's talk about at the end of the hall.
Yeah, when it all lines up.
When it does line up, when things do come together, when all we've talked about some of this in a lot of episodes, the cake ingredients and the final product. What happens when you're at the end of the hallway and the project looks complete? And then you can understand all the things that happen along the way. Or when the cake is out of the oven, you just bake some bread.
I did.
The bread comes out of the oven and it looks so much better and different. It smells better than what it was when you put it in there.
Absolutely. And it's when I'm willing to wait in the hall instead of barreling through like a bull in a china shop to get what I think I need to get, it's always better than I imagine. Always.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I practice being willing to wait, being curious about waiting, like the more I see how it works.
That's awesome. We've also talked about grace and expectation and having positive expectation. When I think about things lining up, it's always a good thing. But when it's unexpected, totally unexpected, I didn't know it was coming. I had it in my heart. I was hopeful. I was curious. But there was no timeline. There was no, oh, I expect this to be deposited into the profound account of my mind there was none of that. It just happened. Seemingly just happened.
Yes.
Coincidence.
Yes.
Which we don't like to use that word. We call them miracles. We also talked about that. But when those things happen, it all lines up unexpectedly. How does that make you feel? And what does it do for you the next time you're in the hallway?
I mean, it puts, I'm going to answer them in reverse order.
Sure.
So when that happens, it like puts money in the bank, like spiritual money in the bank of faith, in the bank of I am being cared for in this life. I am loved so much, like unimaginable amounts of love. And it's just those moments that it's like, it's undeniable. What was the other question? I forgot the other question. I was so excited about how that helps. Oh, it helps me to get through the hall the next time or be in the hall more than get through is not the right word because I don't know how long the hall is.
That's true.
And that's the kicker.
That is true. I think the first question was, how does it make you feel when that unexpected thing happens?
Oh, it's like joy from my toes to my nose.
And in that moment, is it like a quick presentation that goes through your mind of all the different things that had to happen to get there.
Absolutely. It's like I love I've heard the statement and I use it. I don't remember who specifically I heard it from. I see God in my rear view mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So like when that happens, it's like, oh my goodness. And it reminds me how vast, like I'm so limited in my idea of how this would all be orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you kind of like see all the pieces come into place.
Do you have any examples?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. Do you have one, Ebony? As I think.
I'm thinking of one. It's not there yet, but I'm trying to think of one.
I'll give you an example, just an example that happened. I mean, this is an example that happened today. Like
Mm-hmm.
actually, we were on the phone earlier. So, or the Zoom. I learned about this service. Like I did a retreat last week and I learned about the service where you can rent clothes, which is super cool. It's sustainable. It's like you could have different outfits. It's not really expensive. I was like, wow, that sounds like a good idea. I want to try that. So I get home and I look at it and I don't have a mailbox here. I'm actually renting a house right now. So I get all the way down and it says, no bueno, Carri. You have to, we won't do this with a P.O. box. So after my very short tantrum, being honest,
Yeah.
it was like, you know what? Maybe this is not for me right now. I'm not going to have just a P.O. box forever. It's okay. I'm just going to go with it. Okay, not for me. So as we started talking today, I get a text from my landlord that says, hey, do you still want a mailbox? We haven't had this conversation for over a year. And this happened 2 days ago. So I don't know if that's a great example.
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is because you just said a little while ago, God loves you so much. And I think we tend to think of God as doing the big stuff only. Oh, he'll heal me, or he'll make sure this mortgage is paid, or he'll, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do this. He loves us so much that he's concerned about you wanting to ultimately be a good steward. It was bigger than clothing. It's the mindset and the spirit and posture of stewardship.
Yeah.
And boom, bada bing, bada bang, mailbox text. So I think, I keep saying, I think your example, I believe, really resonates with the daily dosages of love that we get, the daily dose, the daily bread, the everyday stuff that we don't even think sometimes to thank God for.
That's true. That is true.
Because it's not big enough. It's not a miracle enough. It's not wow enough. It seems silly.
Neon lights. Yeah.
But here's the thing that's interesting to me. I know how excited you are about this.
I'm super excited. I don't like to shop.
I know how excited you are about this. God knows how excited you are about this. It doesn't matter how small it seems. He knows our hearts in a way.
Yeah.
That he hears it and he knows where it's coming from and he responds. I don't think it was a coincidence.
I don't think so either. And that's like when I remember who's in charge all the time, like to your point, we get to see it on all varying scales, because with grace, there is no scale.
Mm-hmm.
Big is small, small is big. It's all.
I have an example. I don't think it's a good one, but it felt good to me in the moment. So I'm going to share it.
Let's go for it.
I took my car, which is fairly new in the last 6 months. I took my car to the dealership on Monday. They had rescheduled this appointment probably 4 times. Okay. And it wasn't because anything was wrong with the car. I wanted to get something added to it. They kept kept moving for whatever reason. Finally, it's scheduled. It's here. I take it on Monday. They say, hey, because we took so long, we're going to give you a loaner car. I'm like, you should, because I knew they were going to keep it for a while.
Yeah.
So I get the loaner car. That was on Monday. All day Tuesday goes by. I don't hear anything. I didn't even think about it because I don't leave the house much. I work from home. I do most things at home. By Wednesday afternoon, like, where's my car? So I sent a text because I needed to run some errands and I wanted my car because the things I needed were in my car, not the loaner car. I sent a text, hey, any word on my car? Will I get it today? I get a message back saying, no, it's not done. And pretty much it's not going to be done because there was an error with the schedulers and now they can't do it until the 31st.
Of this month?
Yeah. Now, it seems to me if I drop it off on Monday, you would have known that on Monday. But this is Wednesday, and I get this message. And I'm not annoyed because there's an error. Mistakes happen. I'm annoyed because I have errands to run. And I don't want to take this loaner car across town wherever I got to go. And I don't want to put gas in a loaner car. And it didn't come with a full tank of gas. And I know my car is on E because I had gone out of town this past weekend, and I didn't have time to fill it up before dropping it off on Monday.
Right.
So now all these things that are no one else's fault but mine. I should have put gas in my car. I should have checked on it the day before. I'm annoyed. And in my mind, now there's chaos. So this guy, he tells me, I'm going to bring the car to your house and I'll pick up the loaner. I'm like, oh, good. Great. Are you coming now? He goes, yep, I'm coming now. I'm like, I gotta be there by 6. It's 5. The place I'm going to is 45 minutes away. Even if he leaves now, he'll get here with maybe 5 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
And I don't have gas. I've got to stop. And now we're in 5 o'clock traffic. And I don't have gas. And I got to do this car swap. And I don't want to be rude and rush the people. Anyway, you get the point.
It's not going your way.
It's not going my way. It's not going my way. And now I'm asking myself, is it me? Like, I should have checked on this yesterday. I had time for this. Now in my mind, there's this minor annoyance of chaos happening. The guy comes within 10 minutes. I don't know how he got here in 10 minutes in traffic. And he says, I filled your tank. I put gas in your car. What?
Thank you.
And suddenly things line up. I have time to spare. There's gas in the car. And he promises to come pick it up the next time for service so I don't have to take it. And they're going to cover the cost. So in this seemingly chaotic moment where I'm not getting the service I tried to get for the 19th time, I don't have gas, I don't have this, I don't have that. Seemingly small. This is not life-changing, life-altering stuff, right?
Right.
This is recreational by all accounts. Everything lined up. And it wasn't because I was managing it well. It wasn't because I was being very gracious and kind to everyone involved. It just lined up. And I had to take a moment and say, thank you, God, for showing me grace, because I didn't deserve it in that moment. And it would not have been the end of the world if I didn't make my appointment.
No. And it's a great example. And also that idea of, of being able to step back far enough when this guy came, like you could have launched on him, right? You could have, I'm not saying you would, I'm not saying that's your personality.
There was enough ammunition to be angry.
Right. Sometimes like if I'm in the chaos and it's all my fault, or if I had only, or blah, 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 and I get riled up, I'm going to spew it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be contagious.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could have launched on him before you said, hey, I filled your tank up. And
I was like, you did what?
Yeah.
And then I tried to poke holes in it. So this is blessing presented. And I said, did you use premium gas?
Oh,
why did I do that? Why did I do that? And he said, of course.
Can I offer something?
Yeah.
It sounds like a deflection of the gift.
Like, what's in me that does that? He's bringing me my car. I didn't have to leave my house.
Yeah.
He's apologizing. I can see the guy, and it's not his fault, but I can tell that he is hating this drive to my house. And he did something kind. And instead of me saying, thank you so much, you just saved me a very stressful next 30 minutes. I immediately went to is it really as good as it looks?
I think that's just the human part of us.
Gotta do better.
Oh, well, I
But
love
things lined up, Carrie. They lined up. I made my appointment. Everything was fine.
I love it. I love it. That, he's always listening. He always hears us. Prayers are always answered, but I want to say never, but not often answered in any way, shape, or form that I know. And I love being surprised by it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had a woman who came on a retreat, and the retreats that I do, everybody, it's based on the guest list, and they set an intention.
Mm-hmm.
And so this woman is going through a transition. She just got, her career is shifting, right? She got tenure at a university. So as that happens, now her focus can be broader, it can be a little different. It's like the next phase. And so she's being very intentional and taking a step back and looking at, how do I want to impact the world? What do I want to focus on? Like, what do I want to bring in this next phase? So this has been the intention. And she's been looking at different projects. She does some really beautiful work in the world. And so she's looking at different organizations that she may want to be part of or want to do work with. And she, we flew to Costa Rica. And so she had a couple flights to get there. And the first flight, the airline had emailed her and said, hey, do you want to upgrade to first class? It's, $150. And she's like, no, I do not. Right. So like the day before or hours before, I don't really know. I only know the good part of the story. She got another one and it said it's $30. And she's like, well, sign
That's
me
worth
up, right? $30.
Yeah.
So there she is sitting in first class, and the man next to her is the executive director of one of the organizations that she is super interested in working with. So there she is with a 2-hour meeting to learn more and to talk about, how they can impact this and all this. And I mean,
wow.
How
do you plan that?
Yeah, who could orchestrate that?
How do you plan that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's that power. It's that power of intention. It's you know what? This is the direction I'm moving in. And you know what, big guy? Show me along the way. Give me steps.
I would venture to say, and I don't know this woman, and I don't know the details and ins and outs of the story, but I would venture to say that in this new phase of her life, this thing she's wanting to pursue with this organization, this agency, aligns with her purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
And when she planted her feet on the ground to go forth in that direction, thoughtfully and prayerfully, things lined up.
Yeah.
Without her having to do the work.
Yes. Just the next step.
Just the next step.
Yeah. And receive the gift and take the next step.
Receive the gift. That needs to be our next podcast. Receiving the gift. That's good. That's good. I can only imagine the excitement in her voice while she's telling this story to you after the fact. Like, you're never going to believe what happened to me.
Yeah, we were in the airport yelling in a good way. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
it is. So it's, he hears us.
He does.
Words are very powerful. We could do a whole one on words too. The words I speak are very powerful, positive and negative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a good reminder.
Yeah, give Grace some room to work. How about that?
Get out the way.
Yes. I think that is the perfect ending to this today. Although you're so good at kind of wrapping it up too.
Oh no, I like that one. Get out of the way and let Grace do his thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let God do his perfect work.
Absolutely.
And he'll show you the next step. He'll give you the guided steps.
Yeah, just one.
And then he'll drop some things unexpectedly, just to remind you of how much he loves you. Just to remind you. We don't deserve it.
No.
But if you do your part, he shows up.
Every time, unceasingly.
So that would be my closing. And the last thing, you have to say thank you at the end of that. There's a responsibility to show gratitude. There has to be a sincere, genuine thank you.
Yes.
Of praise just for acknowledging him showing up in that moment,
Absolutely.
No one likes to give a gift and not get a thank you.
Yeah. Can you really
It's rude.
receive? Oh, here's the question for next time. Can you really receive anything without a thank you?
You gotta have the gratitude.
Yeah.
You have to.
Well, you know what I'm grateful for in this moment?
You're gonna tell me.
This interchange.
Yeah?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So am I. This right here, this community, this platform, this opportunity to share our thoughts. We don't have PhDs in grace, we don't, not even a master's for that matter. Kind of a skill set training, on the job training for it.
OJT, yes.
Yeah. Still an apprentice. But so grateful for this. This is the culmination of a full workday. This is a culmination of so many things that could have sidetracked us or deterred us or discouraged us. And to still show up, to still have a voice, to still, sometimes we got to dig deep, to still dig, and for God to bless it, I don't take it lightly. So appreciative. Grateful for you.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for the blessing. I'm grateful for the community. Because this lined up.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And so did your wrap up. So I'm just going to say, grace out.
Grace out.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know. We love to hear from you, and share it with a friend. Also, please be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted. We hope you're leaving with another pointer to grace, a new perspective that will light it up in your own life. Until next time, be well, be bold, be kind to yourself, and be on the lookout.